They still stereotype me, you know what I'm saying? When I come in the building, they still looking at me, you know what I'm saying? I guess they look at the way you dress and your hairstyle is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I think that your hair is major. I think if you got long braids and now dreads, they think that you automatically a criminal, I guess. And sometimes the clothes you wear, they judge you off of that. Sometimes I feel like they be looking at me. I mean, you can tell when somebody's just looking at you by the way they look. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes with the face remarks, they thinking something.
Racism in America today, I believe, are media and stereotypes and mass media, meaning that as people expose themselves and watch and partake in things like Jersey Shore or are watching a lot of BET or MTV, they exemplify those stereotypes, and as they do that, they do it without even realizing, and it creates an unfortunate problem for people who don't exemplify those stereotypes, because people who don't exemplify those stereotypes are really trying to make progress, and they're trying to show that everyone is not the same. You don't have to, you don't have to wear a do-rag on your head to class. You don't have to wear your pants halfway down. And you can still be a college student, you can still be a normal, well-being person and still be happy and still contribute to society.
And you said media, so why would you say media?
I think it's the media and just this whole lifestyle that they're portraying, and young people, young African Americans, minorities see this lifestyle and want to imitate it and think that's the way of the world when it's really not. It's just one aspect. And this could be through music videos or watching things like MTV Cribs or whatever and just seeing that type of lifestyle. And a lot of times the artists are just portraying an image and it's not even how they live their lifestyle. So I think that's
today. I think one of the biggest contributors is probably the media. I mean, you have different bias in news, and basically all the crime that you see on local news is all racial profiling. So that's probably
I think the biggest factors and contributors to racism today is competitiveness between the minorities, as well as trying to, like I said, compete with each other, see who can do better in what, either in corporate world or in social society.
I think just the fact that it's just a tradition. People have been going with it. They're like, oh, my grandfather did this, so I'm just going to adapt it and go on with it. So I feel that it's basically people don't really have knowledge about racism. It's just something that they know and that they're used to. So
the biggest factor would be just a miscommunication and a lack of wanting to understand other types of people. We get really comfortable with hanging out with who we already hang out. Most of the time they're our own race, and when we step out of our lines, we automatically assume that we're going to be uncomfortable, more so than trying to understand and see more of our commonalities more so than our differences. So I think that was your attitudes.
So mostly the family culture and how they're raised or whatnot?
Yeah.
You think that's the biggest factor?
Yeah.
How do you think that will change? What's the key to changing that around? How would that?
Probably education and awareness. I mean, I think it depends. I mean, even that might not help in some cases. I mean, psychology is really interesting and just how like families influence kids' attitudes. But I think definitely education and awareness and just being put in environments where, you know, they see that nothing's...
I guess stereotypes would be the biggest contributing factor, I'd say.
Stereotypes. Where do these stereotypes come from? What do you feel is the biggest factor as far as giving people these stereotypes or whatnot?
Just like racist jokes and stuff.
I believe that one of the biggest factors that contribute to racism today is probably ignorance. Maybe a lot of people and families haven't grown up with like knowing about other cultures. And for me, I've grown up all over the place, and so I've got to be around a lot of different races, so I understand different people. And I would say for other people, maybe they didn't grow up around different races, and that makes them have a prejudice against other people. So.
America today.
The devil, man, straight up.
What do you mean by the devil?
The devil, man, he using people, man. You know, we've done so much, you know, to try to stop racism in America. You know, black people been fought, you know, for their equal rights and everything like that. And you know, people are still racist in this day and age. You know, we're in 2011. People are still racist. The only thing I can think of is the devil using people, man. Straight up. That's just how I was raised. You know what I mean? With ignorance in people, it's always gonna be racism.
Okay.
Kind of keen on what he said. I feel like it's about how you was raised, honestly, because like you said, like if say white person was very, very racist, most 9 times out of 10 that means that either their father or their past father was either part of the Ku Klux Klan, so that's kind of how they're raised. And like they're the same, black people are raised to think white people are the bad person, so black people are racist against white people in that manner. And
The biggest factors or the biggest factor?
Whatever you feel is the biggest factor playing a part as far as racism.
Perception.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that?
Pretty much, if I had to guess, because I haven't done any exact research on it yet, perceived stereotypes as someone after living in a society where everything goes by your way or the standards of some single view, you're afraid to get the other approach because who doesn't fear change? Change is beneficial, no one knows that unless they try it out, but they're afraid to try it out. So it's sort of natural, they feel some apprehension towards anything new approaching.